a living to our farmers, our ignorant farmers, he said, because they were ignorant. It will be worth my doing all this. One tree that would give a living to farmers was worth this whole effort. When he went to Bangalore, he saw how poor the people are. And Dr. Swaminathan says people are poor because they have no assets. And when he looked around, he saw the only asset they had was mulberry trees. Is anyone here from Bangalore? Yeah. He saw the, yes. And he saw the poverty of the peasants. He said, how do you answer this poverty? So he called at his own expense two Japanese experts, a husband and wife. His cousin and the houseboy who was a Japanese, who knew English and Japanese. He was the translator. In those days things were not so easy. You couldn't just get a translator. You would have had to import one, possibly. So the Japanese went. They came. He said, where do we go? He said, go to Bangalore. The climate is temperate. Mulberry trees are there. Go there. Then they went down some other paths, presumably. And they set up a Tata silk farm. You will still see a board, Tata Silk. I have seen a board, Tata Silk Farm Crossroad. I have seen a railway holding Tata Silk Farm. I don't think there are any farm there now. But that farm was started to train young people in sericulture. He was in textiles. He could have virtually walked into the silk industry if he wanted. But it was not the same Jamsetji Tata who wanted things for himself. He had the Salvation Army handle this for him, and he wanted nothing out of it. He presented it to Mysore State. You take it. I don't want to cash in on it. This is for the people. You know, this kind of giving, where you don't want something out of it, and the sheer joy of giving that he experienced in his life. It has been a great lesson to me, studying the life of this man, and a great inspiration to me. And if you read the book, I'm sure it will be a great inspiration to you. Another person whose life has inspired me, and a man who is a very dear friend of mine, is Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. You know why he went in for agriculture? No? None of you know? When he was a young man of 17 or 18, the Bengal famine took place, which killed about 3 million people. And he was about to choose which stream to go in. He said, I must go in for agriculture to make sure that this does not happen again. And he did. He went to Coimbatore College, 47, 48, he went to Cambridge, to Amsterdam, then to Cambridge, then to America. His research subject was potatoes. And in America, of course, they wanted to pick him up in no time. They offered him a job. And his reply was very simple. He's always dignified. And he said, I did not come to America to serve America. I came to America to learn, to go back and serve my country. That's all. When the Mexican dwarf wheat was discovered by Borlaug, there was one man before Borlaug who worked on it also. He adapted it for India. He went to what one would call the bureaucracy, the ones higher up to him. They said, you expect an Indian farmer to adopt any new technique? The fellow is stuck in this thing for years and centuries and thousands of years. He's not going to take anything foreign like that, new like that. He tried, he wanted only 50,000 of those days, which is probably 7-8 lakhs of today, for farm experiments. He went straight to Subramaniam and nobody responded. Subramaniam sanctioned that amount. He was food minister. Until the end of their lives, they were friends. Subramaniam sanctioned it. And when the Indian farmer is shrewd, when he saw somebody could make a profit next to him by taking this variety, he jumped at it. And that is why the first revolution sprung up in Punjab and Haryana. Having done that, he went, of course, as Director General of the International Rice Institute in Manila. And this is another good point you might like to know, people who want to perpetuate themselves. Not that there are people here like that, but many people you know will be like that, at least. He was in the Planning Commission afterwards, a job which he heartily disliked because he's a field man. I met a pupil of his who said, you know, he was the only teacher of agriculture at the Agricultural Research Institute in Delhi, who was there by 5 o'clock in the morning, in fact, 5-10 minutes before us, before we came to the field. This is a hard work, agriculture. And when he went to P.C. Alexander, no, I think yes, P.C. Alexander and somebody else, was secretary to India at that time in 1980. Whoever he was. Anyway, he went to him first. He said, no, out of the question, Prime Minister will never release you to go to the International Rice Institute. That offer had come from there. So he went to see Indira. India said, no, you can't go. You can't leave, we need you. She's quite an imperious character. Swaminathan softly said, Madam, the time to leave is when you are still wanted. Madam, the time to leave is when you are still wanted. Wonderful reply. Simple. No sort of flowery language. And she said, yes, you must leave. She understood. When he came back, he found that we had a surplus of grains. The rats were helping themselves merrily to it. But the human beings were still stuck. He calls it hidden hunger. They don't quite die, but they don't quite live either. Hardly one meal a day. And then he said the important thing is the availability of the food. And more so, the accessibility of the person to buy it. For your information, now he has been after this for some time. He keeps informing me about his various activities. I'm on his foundation too. And he feels that every village through the panchayat can be made self-sufficient with their own effort in preserving food and water. The center cannot, the state government cannot keep meeting all the crises that keep coming all the time. Each one has to be responsible. And then he has got these knowledge centers coming. What I'm trying to tell you is that if the purpose is to go out and do something for your people, your purpose will widen. It will deepen into a passion. And life will be so satisfying. You know, Americans are good at doing research. When I was doing my leadership book, I went to the Library of the Congress. And I found to my horror, the Americans, this is by 1938 or before the war, had discovered that there were 400 qualities to leadership. It's enough to confuse anybody. I mean, if you try moving to 400 qualities, your book will be 4,000 pages minimum. So I said, this is forget it. But through what was I trying to come to? Just a minute. What we were saying before our Library of the Congress.